Hello and welcome back to the channel. Thanks for stopping by for yet another video. I do appreciate that, and I appreciate you. So I'm over here at thewired.com, and I happen to come across this article. Haven't really discussed Hurricane Maria or any hurricanes lately, because there really hasn't been any major news on any, but I did come across this that I thought I would share with you. It seems pretty interesting here. It says, after Hurricane Maria, could Puerto Rico be at risk of cholera? So we'll go down here and see what's going on. Oh, it says here, so it says a nurse in a darkened hallway at Hospital El Mastro, which has been on emergency generator power since Hurricane Maria. So at least they have some emergency generator power, at least in their hospitals and stuff. But as we all know, Puerto Rico will be without power probably for months, unless they have generators, obviously. But it says after the deluge comes the deluge. First, Hurricane Irma raked Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands in early September, and then 2 weeks later, Hurricane Maria did the same thing, leaving 3.5 million people in Puerto Rico without clean water, communications, or electricity, among damaged buildings and floodwaters. Yeah, I was gonna say they've been devastated there. So it's just like more and more bad news keeps getting thrown out to him. And I was reading another article earlier, and it had a good question, and it said it pretty much asked, should these people come back, and why would they? I mean, because almost all these islands, Barbuda, the Caribbean, a lot of these islands have been completely wiped out. I mean, almost inhabitable, and honestly, it probably won't be able to actually live there for months. So the question in the other article, not to get off track real quick, but so the article was basically just asking the question, should they come back, or will they come back? Because this is one of the worst hurricane seasons they've had in a very, very long time. The entire islands are wiped out. It's going to take months before they're even habitable again, like I said. So, I mean, that's a good question to ask. I mean, should these people actually come back, or should they just move on? That's a good question, because and then it keeps going. It says aid is finally reaching the islands. Fuel for generators, water, medical supplies, food, but disasters always breed disasters, and that might be what's about to happen in Puerto Rico too. The first impact is people who were directly injured. The medical director of Special Pathogens Unit of the National Emerging Infectious Disease Laboratory, Infectious Disease Laboratories at the Boston University. Then you have an entire group of people who are critically ill, facing healthcare systems, and that are overwhelmed. It says if things don't get fixed quickly, the third wave comes. The islands are dealing with standing water, little clean water, and heat, and high heat. Those are perfect conditions for waterborne and mosquito-borne diseases, diarrheal diseases, sorry, and things like, I'm not even going to pronounce that one, Zika and dengue. But then it says it even gets worse, as a 2008 paper argued that even though Puerto Rico hasn't seen an epidemic of the often fatal diarrheal disease cholera since 1856, Puerto Rican rivers still sometimes harbor strains of the bacteria behind it. So, and it goes on to say that while these might not be disease-causing strains, the paper said that they could be dangerous under the right conditions. The perfect storm, if you will, it has in quotation marks. So I guess the real question here is that it goes on to say that the spokespeople for the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention downplayed the risk of cholera. They does not anticipate the Hurricane Maria will result in cases or outbreaks of cholera in Puerto Rico or the Virgin Islands, as there were no evidence of the disease on the islands before the hurricane. But if you go off of what they're saying, that these strains exist in these rivers, I mean, I guess it's a possibility, right? Like the perfect storm, like they just said. I don't know. I hope not. They've been through way too much as it is. I would hate to see them go through something else like this, like cholera or whatnot. So I just wanted to share the article because I just thought it was pretty interesting. I mean, I guess it's a good question. If the strains actually exist in the rivers, they're just not sure if they're the the harmful strains, if you will. But again, I just thought I'd share this with you real quick, and they've already been devastated, and I just would you would hate to see it get even worse for them. My thoughts and prayers go out to everyone that's been affected by these hurricanes, especially the Puerto Rico and the Caribbean islands, Virgin Islands. I mean, they've been destroyed and devastated, and that like I said in the other article, it asked should they come back and would they come back. And honestly, if I'm in that situation, I don't think I would go back. I think that would be enough for me to say, you know what, it's time to move. But again, I appreciate you watching this video and supporting this channel. Have a blessed day. Peace.